Hi, Arrow. I'm Mac.
I'm Shawn.
Oh, you guys! My God, I got to tell you, I'm that kid that has to look at a book and basically hold on to it, and then you turn it over and look at the back, and I feel like that you guys grew up watching Batman episodes because it's like the first cat in space and the soup of doom. Meanwhile, then you talk about poison soup. I mean, you had me giggling like a child just on the back cover.
Oh, I love hearing that. It's true. You know, that narrator voice you just did, and that was a very impressive narrator voice there, Arrow. I try to do one. It's not nearly as good. That spirit of that narration, that action, that excitement, that is exactly what we're going for in these books.
Well, and it's what I feel when I go from picture to picture. Maybe I was the weird kid that always wanted to have pictures in the books that he read. This right here, when you do an action graphic like this, not only do I get the pictures, but I'll read the paragraph, look at the picture, go back to the paragraph, and I really jump into the storyline.
Well, I think you've been proved right that so many kids these days love reading graphic novels and illustrated fiction. And there's been a beautiful thing that's happened. I think that in the past, adults have been skeptical of this art form, but it's really gaining acceptance, and for good reason. What you just described is exactly right. A kid who's reading a comic is getting the story from both the words and the pictures. It's pretty sophisticated. To understand the story, they have to synthesize text and image.
Well, I got to tell you what, the thing about this is that my grandson is dyslexic, and books like this are what helps him understand a story. These books have saved his life.
That's amazing. I mean, it's always great to hear stuff like that. And we know that when you're a kid, until you find that book, that genre, that really is exciting to you, you can kind of be casting about. And Shawn and I both love reading. Reading is so important, but if you haven't found that yet, it can be very alienating to not love books. But when you find that thing, that makes sense to you, that you really get excited about, that's what makes you a lifelong reader. And we do hear sometimes from families to say, like, these are the books that turned my kid into a reader. And that's the best compliment you can get.
You know what? You guys are masters at creating mystery, because you know that we can't figure it out unless we dive into the story. And the way that you build this up about the soup and why do you want to poison the queen, you create such a mystery for the reader that you just keep going to the next frame, the next frame, the next frame.
Thank you. Yeah, that sense of forward motion, that's the trick, right? How do we keep people reading? And so I've always loved mysteries. I think it's such a compelling reason to move forward. Shawn is great at paneling, just keeping the motion propulsive. We try to have good jokes, big surprises across page turns, just keeping a really immersive experience for the reader.
So now, how did you create Laws 4000? I mean, so unique, very, very much you guys. I mean, it's one of those things where I want this dude's picture on my T-shirt.
Yeah, well, we actually do. You know, we have Lost 4000 T-shirts. If you go to thefirstcatinspace.com, you could grab that, Arrow. But yeah, Lost 4000 is a toenail clipping robot, and he was actually based on my great grandfather, who was also a toenail clipping robot.
Your childhood friends. Most people form a garage band, but you guys went into action graphics.
The problem was I can't play musical instruments. Shawn is very musical.
I also had a garage band. That's why when you crack this book open, you'll get to pages that say, go to thefirstcatinspace.com and hear the song that the characters are singing on this page. Most books don't have songs in them. These ones do.
I always love it when a book does have a song in it, but then you always know, like, you're wondering, like, what is the tune of this song? How would I sing it? Exactly. Is it all, you just end up kind of singing everything to row, row, row your boat. But we have fully orchestrated music here that just, you can listen to for free, and you can know what our characters are singing along to.
Yeah, the album Soup of Doom, the album drops tomorrow, as well as the book, as well as the audiobook, which has songs in it.
We're talking about a 360-degree multimedia experience, Arrow.
But you know what, though? But you're right about that. And that's one of the reasons why I created the iHeartRadio channel, View from the Writing Instrument, because we can pick up any book and read it, but until we hear your voice and we hear your inflection and your laughter, okay, now you've given me another reason to start this book all over again, because I got to hear from you.
My favorite books are the ones that give you more each time you read it. And we really hope, just like you say, that the first reading of this book is just fun and fast and propulsive, but that readers who come back to it can get as much out of the book as they put in.
Yeah, but you know what I go looking for? Easter eggs, because I know you two. I know you planted things in this that we're going to get it on the second and third read.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's a full spread page in there where the characters are flying past a huge full moon, which parents will probably recognize as a frame from E.T.
Oh.
Which is a movie that came out the year that me and Mac were born, but somehow was still so instrumental in kind of our sense of what movie storytelling, what big storytelling is.
Yeah, I wonder whatever happened to that Steven Spielberg guy.
Yeah, he needs a plug.
How did you get into storytelling like this? What was it that were you guys doing this in high school and you said, look, man, I'm going to add something to that?
It's funny. Yeah, Shawn and I have always made stuff together. So in high school, we would write songs and make up stories, and we would just sometimes put a cassette in and just record a conversation between the two of us for an hour. If you think about it, we really invented the podcast.
The distribution model just wasn't there yet.
But this story actually grew out of COVID. It was a COVID project. Every Saturday morning at the beginning of lockdown, when schools were canceled, Shawn and I, to sort of commemorate the weekend for kids who had lost the week, we would tell one installment of a 12-part science fiction epic called The First Cat in Space Ate Pizza. And that story is what became the first graphic novel in this series. Well, you know, a lot of writing is pretty solitary, and this was an amazing chance to show kids our work as we were making it. As soon as we finished a chapter, we would put it up online, share it with kids, get their feedback, and it really incentivized us to make this story as funny and as exciting as possible. It's, you know, that's the way that novels used to be written in the 19th century, just serialized. It's why you get these amazing cliffhangers and compelling stories. And I do think that if Charles Dickens was alive today, he probably would have written The First Cat in Space and The Soup of Doom. But he's not alive, so we had to.
There you go. You guys have got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Thank you so much. We love being on here talking books, and just we so appreciate you sharing books with the world. It's really important, and thanks for making this space.
You bet.
Thanks, Sarah.
You guys be brilliant today, okay?
We'll try.
Okay, bye-bye.